I am off hunting blazes. What do I find? Salamander's Eye. Awesome. Hello guys, Chokester here, bringing you another episode of Infinite Choices. We are up to episode 7, and what the heck am I doing standing here with all these blazes? Well, they're my friends now. Not really. They're really anxiously trying to attack me, but you see in my left hand, just as also in the cutscene, I have a Salamander's Eye. It's awesome to have a Salamander's Eye because blaze farming, it makes it a no-brainer. Now, I'm hoping that you guys can hear me because that's a bit loud. Let me turn down my volume a little bit. Not video settings, options, music and sounds, hostile creatures. It is a little loud. I'm hoping it's okay for you guys. But, you know, we always wrestle, in case you wondered. We always wrestle with what it sounds like in the finished product. So that's why you always hear that, is that in our earpieces, it sounds different than, you know, what our mixers produce, if we have mixers, or what the end product of what YouTube viewers will hear. So anyway, in case you ever wanted that. Notice how I took very little damage on that, and that was, I did take some when they were beating me up, but ultimately it was the fire damage that this the Salamander's Eye protects from. Now, if we look at the recipe for it, it requires one of these frozen cores, a nebulous heart, a molten core, and an Eye of Ender. So it's not horrible. This is obtained from a snow golem. So that's kind of a little tricky to get, but it's not hard. The other thing I picked up was a lava charm, and that is kind of a fire resistance. It's not super fire protection, but it helps a little bit. You can take that to the next level and get a little bit more fire and lava protection as well. So this being the lava charm, it's more focused on being in lava, and I think you have like 10 seconds of protection against it. Anyway, I have 9 blaze rods. I'm going to sit here and farm this a little bit more, and I'll meet you back at the base. All right, we made it back safely without dying. Now, one of the things I want to show you is that I got some diamond horse armor, some gold horse armor, and we know that we can smelt those down in a tinker smelter, at least the gold horse armor in the 110, but we can't do anything with the diamond horse armor unless if you have actually additions. So that's really cool. I can put a diamond horse armor in here, and this will show you in JEI, right? That's how I knew it was capable. So that just made me 16 diamonds out of that. Well, let's see what we get from the gold horse armor. Why, we get, wait for it, same thing, 8 gold. That's pretty awesome. That's really, really cool. And as you might have realized, that gold is fairly rare. I wouldn't say it's super rare, but I mean you're usually kind of low on it early game, and so what I've been doing is getting a ton of copper, and there is a ton of copper, and with the alloy smelter, actually got to turn this over to push. There we go. That'll all push over once that's done, and let's see if I can catch this to get my diamonds. Got it. Oh, missed it. Darn it. Thought I got it. Anyway, so when I'm doing the copper and I'm breaking it down in here with the flint or the dark steel balls, it actually produces gold as a byproduct. So I've been heavily cranking on the copper. Every time I see it, I mine it just to be able to get the gold. And I'm in pretty good shape. I have 2.5 stacks right now. So it's not the best, but it's okay. And I've got a little over 1 stack right there. So anyway, that's pretty cool. The other thing I want to work on today is, you see I have a crafter and some stone burnt. What are we going to do with that? Well, let's go out and see what we've done. Oh, I did make a display stand, but that's just to display the ender. Ooh, fun. Display stand will be coming up in a next few episodes. Wow, that's a big tree. Okay, what have we done here? This is craziness. This is crazy. Okay, so I have moved our stone chopper back. I added all the rest of the upgrades just because I had them. And then I put a drawer on top, and it takes the byproducts. So now we look, this is all pretty good. And you notice it's got red coal in there that's running. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So let's, have this going over here. I've changed this over to rice. All right, let me take you through what I did and what we're going to be doing. Ooh, and I got slime boots because it's so much faster with the jetpack to do that. Okay, so we come out of this chopper. It pulls out wood, and it starts burning wood in here and making charcoal. It goes over here, makes red coal out of the charcoal with our resonator. And then it goes into a, well, and technically that feeds up into here, all right? And so this feeds this generator, which is feeding the farmer, okay? So now, in order for this chopper to continue to run, it needs to have axes. Well, we just do the traditional crafter from RFTools. You start with the last thing you want to make at the top. So we make wooden axe. You see the recipe is just that, but in order to do that, I need both wood and sticks. So there's my recipe for that. Very straightforward. There's a recipe for that. And I basically just feed it with this when it has excess, and it creates all this, dumps it here, and feeds it back here. Now, I very sparingly have the filters in there, right? I say that I want oak wood to be extracted out of here, and everything else goes up. And the only thing that can be inserted in here is either hold on, the oak saplings or the wooden axe. Well, since the only thing that's coming through this whole thing is the axe, well, that's good enough. Over here, if I'm not careful about this, what I need to do is grab one of these. Yeah, I was afraid of that. It's going to grab them all, but that's okay. So what I can do is this will actually feed back in here. It's designed to, I have that set, but I don't have a filter on there. I just say, you can go in whenever, I think it's this one, yeah. You can go in whenever you get a chance. So it will use the wood from here, or it will use the red coal as it's being made. But that's kind of the one of those where I pulled everything out just to see how it would reset, and the first thing that got dumped in there was wood, and so it filled up. Anyway, this should now stay all filled up, because the one thing I did here is I set this on the extract. I set this to round robin, and there's two things that want this. One is this furnace, the other is this Stirling generator. So it just alternates between whatever has an input for it. Now this guy here is very straightforward. It's export here, and that takes these out, and up here is the input, and that input is just whatever will go in there, and I've hard-coded these here, and I've told it to remember those, and it will then remember all of those that items with the which is effectively these three things and no cobblestone. All right. Hopefully you've seen that before. If you need more explanation, let me know. I'm not going to take a lot of time because I want to further this process here. And the other thing is that we had some discussion on one of the episodes that why am I doing the limiting this? Well, right, first thing is the Ender IO farmer runs all the time. So that's a practice I use all the time, and it works. The second thing is that while this is great when you have tons of extra power, I was trying to see if I could actually make it more efficient by only running when it absolutely needed to. What I think what LPEC has confirmed, only by having one comment, is that when it checks to see if there's anything to do, it doesn't actually use any power. It only uses power when it has something to do, like harvest or plant. And if that's the case, then I don't think we're going to save much, or I'm sorry, I don't think we're going to save anything if he is indeed doing all the checking when he makes his runs through and does the 9x9, 81 squares of checking to determine if there's any work to be done. If that doesn't use any energy, then yes, I agree. We don't need to tell this to only run at certain times. So I think he confirmed that. I kind of asked for clarification, but I didn't really pointedly ask that. Anyway, what I have now is just the Stirling generator, but this guy generates a whopping 20 RF per tick. As we saw in my Direwolf series, it's only doing 8 RF per tick, so we got to do something that can't keep up with anything, or can't keep up with the farmer's constant use for those for that. Anyway, why did I switch this over to rice? Well, you see there's a lot of rice in here. I have rice built up. I have 14 stacks now and a void upgrade, which is really cool. And I did on purpose use a dual one because I want to do something next. And that's what the stone burnt is for. Well, there's this really cool thing, and there it's called a player chest. Well, we have a very similar thing with the player interface from Actually Editions, and a very similar thing called the player interface from Random Things. What they allow you to do is input and export things out of your inventory. I personally like the player chest from Extra Utils because it provides a little bit more flexibility. You can tell it to input only, extract only. We'll see that here in a second. The player interface allows you to power, or at least it used to. I heard that somebody made a comment that said it doesn't actually allow you to power your equipment anymore. And that's not going to work in there. Oh, wait. All smelting. Yeah, it should work. So let's try it in here. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Oh, maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. Interesting. Oh, I thought I could turn those back into diamonds. There we go. Enrichment chamber. Just so I happen to have one of those. Nope. Yep. There we go. All right. So I don't know if it actually supports doing power or not, but that would be really nice to be able to power all of our equipment just by hooking this up next to, let's say, a battery pack, and it powers it. But we're going to go with this one for right now. Also because I haven't done the empowering yet. All right. So that's the this empower yet. I keep putting it on my to-do of what we're going to do next episode, but there's so many other cool things to do. So what I want to do is I want to make this one from the Extra Utils. All right, and so it requires an Eye of Ender, which I don't have that, and that's why I was in the Nether getting those. Where did I put them? There. I thought they were in here. Did I? Ha! There we go. I was in the Nether trying to get those because we didn't have any of those, and I wanted to make this. All right, and we got 4. I was hoping to get 5. No worries whatsoever. Okay, let's do this. I have Ender, and I've also there's a ton of guys in the end. So I have 12 plus 11 here. I've almost got 2 stacks of Ender pearls, which is really cool. Okay, so we've got that. We've got this. Let's make this. I believe I have enough of that. And then lastly, we have 2 of these resonating redstone crystals for right now. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. So this is my inventory up here, and it's also down here, right? So this is my inventory here. This is my inventory replicated. And I can tell it to, I can give this slot right here full access, which would be this slot right here, right? So, or I could say give these 4 full access, or I could say extract only for these, or I could say insert only for these 2 and extract only for those 2. Well, we're going to leverage that by doing something maybe here, and I can have it auto create a, I always keep my torches here, but food, since we've been doing farming, that's what I want to deal with. I want to deal with my farm, or my food stuff here. And I think what I'm going to do is, if I were to stick with the spaghetti, it's great. I mean, it's something like 8. It's not quite 8. I think it's 7, maybe 8 food. It's just insane. I've kind of not been eating on purpose just to show you that it does more than 4. It's really great, but the downside is that you have to have wood bowls, which are right here, and it leaves a wood bowl. Now, what I could do is I could say, all right, every single thing in here, if it matches a wood bowl, then pull it out. And that's done with, with Ender.io conduits and filters and stuff, and just pull out from wherever the bowls are, pull them out. So I could do that. But what's really nice is with that rice, we can make rice bread. So if we look at the rice, right, so we planted rice seeds and it becomes rice. The recipe then for rice, we make rice dough out of it, which just 3 of these, and we make rice dough. And what can you do with rice dough? Well, you can make slime balls if you want, but you can also cook it up. And this gives me about 4. And that's pretty good, and it's very straightforward, and a little bit, or definitely way better. And there's no excess bowls to deal with. It's just a little simpler. So I think that's what I want to do. So we're going to leverage this guy, but we also have to cook that up. And so I want to go with an Actually Additions. So remember, Actually Additions has a lot of great stuff in here. So let's look at the furnace. And it just so happens to be a double furnace, which is really cool. When I first started playing with Actually Additions back in the Avant 3, it was indeed called the double furnace. And so I remember it. So that's why it says previously double furnace. So let's make a couple of these guys and crank this out real quick. And that should, oh, I'm going to make both of these guys 1, 2, and that should be it. All right. So we have that. We're going to want to grab some of these item conduits. We're also going to want to have some of these item filters, which I've made a couple of them. And I think we're okay out here. Yeah, there's a, let me go ahead and sleep real quick. Is a creeper out there, so I definitely don't want any of this stuff blown up. Hi, bud. Ha! Got him. Oh, that was a risky move, but I nailed it. I nailed it. Okay, so what do we want to do? Well, the first thing is so we're cranking with power, no problem. Plenty of power all over here. So we've got these right here. Well, all right, so the thing is that the furnace is powered. It needs RF. So I can make this more wide. I would love to have this all in one kind of plane. I'd love to have it going horizontally, and I could move the power underneath, but I'm thinking what I ought to do is I ought to just put the power, the powered furnace right here, and it will pull power from here. And then this player chest, yeah, we don't quite need that yet, but we do need, where was it? This crafter right here, because we're going to need the crafter right here to pull in that rice, right? We need to make the we need to pull in this rice from here and put it inside of here. Well, we're going to need to make this in and out, which it is, and good. We could do things different channels, but let's just see. Yeah, maybe I'm going to extract on, we'll call it brown. Okay, so we're going to insert on green. That comes from here, right? So this will be extract on green and put it over here, and all good. So anything that comes out of here, which will be rice only, will go into here. However, what I want to do then is I want to extract on brown, and I'm going to, remember, this is the seed one. This is what actually connects back in to put the seeds back in. So we will grab, I made myself a yellow wrench in between because it is really handy. So we're going to use that, and then we're going to say insert on brown. Now, that will have taken some of that, but good. So now that's going to fill all that up. Now, I could do something like this and say, I just want 2 stacks in here. And I can remember that. And, well, let this fill up, and I'll say remember that. Okay, good. So now I can take those back out. And so that's it. That's all that will fill up with its 2 stacks. And that's coming from here, which is cool. And so I was expecting this to have filled up earlier and then dump the stuff in here, the rice seeds, but it's interesting that it just started now, which is cool. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to say this recipe is, I think I can do it like this. Yeah, there we go. All right, and it already filled up. So that's it. And it's shapeless. I can have any recipe whatsoever, and I want it to go external down here. Okay. And so we're going to need to get it over into here. So before we turn that on, let's go ahead and we'll put just a simple one from here to here. All right, so that is going to be of course, we want to extract that one, and we want to insert on this one. And it can be green for right now, but I think we're going to probably need this in the future. So let's go ahead and make this blue. So yeah, I think blue. And so we're going to say, no, blue, it can only extract from here and go over to here and insert on blue. So if we were to say this recipe then is here, and as soon as I hit apply on external, it's going to crank through and make a bunch of those. It's going to head over here, and it's going to start cooking up our rice bread. So I want to tell it to auto split. So now it's going to do its thing. And then we've got these guys split, and it's cooking us bread. Now, how do we get it back? Well, I'm thinking that we turn this guy into, instead of insert, we say it in and out, and extract, we want it to come back over here. I'm going to take these seeds out, put them back in here, because yeah, I didn't think they were supposed to be in here, but let me see, I think it's because I have this, there we go. I was playing with this a little bit earlier, and I said, "What do I really need this to be lower priority?" Yeah, I do. That's why, because we want this guy here to fill up itself first. Okay, so if I were to connect this, and what color did we make this guy? We made this extract. We could make it on, well, what's this insert? This insert is green. Well, we only have to worry about, is there anywhere else it can insert on green? And no, this is an extract. This insert is on brown. This insert is on green, but I don't think, yeah, the only thing that can go in here is seeds, because insert only goes into here. So we're good. This is not an insert, so I think that's going to be fine. I think if we connect this up and make this extract on green and extract that, that should pull them out and place it down here. Sweet. That's exactly what we wanted. Very minimal, and there could be a little bit better way. Like I said, if I put the power down, I can move this down one. I could move this horizontally, and we could have, you know, everything in one long horizontal way. But I'm okay with this. I'm fine with that. Last thing I want to do now is I want to put this down, and remember, I want to have this as, I think, extract, or I'm sorry, insert only. So we're going to do that. And then what I want to do is I want to put that on there. And remember that filter that we had? Where's my filter? There we go. We should only need one of these. And let me grab just one of these for the filter. So we're going to say oh, it was extract. There we go. All right. So we're only going to extract the rice bread. And let's do that. And so now, if we set this to insert, look at that. Look at my inventory down there. It's so cool. It's filling up with rice bread. As it's being made, it will fill up automatically. Now, let's let this fill up, because I want to see what happens when we're all full, or actually show you. I know what's going to happen. So, all right, guys, give me a second. Okay, so we have a 25, 26 of them in here. It's just cranking away, doing its thing. We have a little over a stack of rice so far, and we are all filled it up. Okay, so we are now full. It has filled us, and so we will eat one of these. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So the tick count on here, I'm guessing, is, yeah, I think that's going to be a problem. I don't know what it's doing. Is that I don't know if it's a grid power thing. I don't know what it is. You see that it's pulsing, and if I put the Salamander Eye back in here, oops, yeah, there we go. See how they're both dancing? So what do I look like? Doesn't show anything here, but for whatever reason, I'm just bouncing and I can't eat, because it does it often enough that I can't actually complete the eating of the bread. So that's really interesting. So what if I were to disable this? Now I can do it. Yeah, that's not cool. It's not cool. Cool. Not cool at all. Well, it's close. It's close to what I want to do. So I could set this on a timer and tell it to I could tell it to insert here and tell this to extract on redstone and set it on a certain timer, and then it wouldn't, because see how that stops right now? But as soon as I turn this on, it's whenever it checks to see if it needs to push something in there. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do, is I'm going to have to put a timer in here and then have it check every, I don't know, 20 minutes. I mean, I can't go through a stack of bread, but what I would like is this torch. I would love to have a solution to get me torches. All right, guys. Well, that was a fun episode. Hope you guys had fun with it, and I will Bid you adieu. We'll hold our Salamander's Eye in our hand and wink at it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for all the support you've given me. You have been wonderful. I have now surpassed 100 users. We have surpassed Thanksgiving and survived and gained lots of weight. So in the U.S. here, Thanksgiving is quite the festive holiday for us, and we eat tons, so we're all feeling quite bloated. And yeah, it's been a really great series. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Lots of good comments, so I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this series, or this episode, I mean, if you're enjoying the series and you haven't subscribed yet, I would very much appreciate that. So with that said, guys, I will bid you adieu and have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.